police force's ability to solve crimes is one of the features that makes it effective. Guyana, like all countries, will experience crime. However, the police force's ability to solve those crimes when they happen is what builds the confidence of the people they are mandated to protect and serve. Training, partnerships, and resources are key. This is being guided by the Guyana Police Force's 3-year strategic plan. The Guyana Police Force is advancing its investigative capacity with training in several areas. Superintendent Calvin Brutus says while in the past training was done haphazardly, it is now being undertaken with the guidance of the University of Guyana. A memorandum of understanding was signed for that purpose. Already, police officers are undertaking a number of courses at the university. One of the areas that will be focused on is equipping police ranks to be effective in the courtroom.
We're looking to roll out our prosecutors program, which is the 1 year, the substantive prosecuting program, because we recognize that there's a deficiency in terms of prosecutors. So you know that with staff turnover and retirement and all of that, we become depleted, and in the absence of training in the past, we're now faced with replenishing that staff of prosecutors.
Aside from having a well-trained batch of prosecutors, the training entails more than what meets the eye. Seeking justice is their primary role. Once justice is sought, it means criminals will be kept off the streets. The first batch of 30 officers is slated to commence training in September. However, the training will be continuous to supply the force with a cadre of persons capable of prosecuting matters on behalf of the state. Officers will also benefit from overseas training. This year, through the Ministry of Public Service, scores of police officers will be trained overseas to advance their investigative capacity. This will be done at police training academies in the United Kingdom and India.
And at the moment, we're looking at a slew of training programs that deals with the criminal investigation department, forensics. The ranges from ballistics, fingerprint, crime scene, cybercrime, and a whole list of more than 30 programs. And this has been footed by the Public Service Ministry. We've already done our part of shortlisting candidates and supply them, because they're diploma and postgrad diploma programs. Very, very good programs accredited internationally.
Superintendent Brutus says in the end, the force will have personnel equipped with skills to deal with any aspect of crime solving and investigations similar to first world countries. Notwithstanding the push for overseas training, steps are being taken by the force to have its own accredited training academy. While this is still in the planning stage, some officers took it upon themselves to become qualified instructors.
With regards to the instructors, we are fortunate enough to have a number of ranks who took it upon themselves and paid their own monies. Of course, the police granted them the time off to do the studies, and they are now equipped with degrees in various disciplines. So we're going to top up what they already, the foundation that they've already achieved, to suit the needs of becoming instructors at that level.
Once all the requirements are fulfilled, the Academy will be able to offer programs that are accredited anywhere in the Commonwealth. Police officers are also receiving training to go digital when taking reports. This will be undertaken by the Police Reporting Management Information System.
We are expected to see in the very near future that when someone comes to the police station to make a report, it is immediately entered into the computer system at the inquiries desk, and then the system is from the inquiries desk for the importing of the report all the way, monitoring all the way to the court. What happens to the court, there's a different system, but it is one that we want to explore, to have an engagement with the court, to see how best we can have our systems interact with each other so that we can trace it to finality.
However, while training is necessary, having updated laws are just as important. Recently, Minister of Home Affairs Robeson Ben laid several amendment bills in the National Assembly aimed at improving the force's investigative capacity. These include the Police Amendment Bill Act, the Firearms Amendment Bill, the Evidence Amendment Bill, and the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substance Amendment Control Act. The bills will assist the Guyana Forensic Science Laboratory, which has been in existence for 7 years, to effectively undertake its duties. Director of the Forensic Lab shares the importance of the legislation.
The amendment to the Firearm Act and the Police Act to include DNA and the Firearm Act to empower persons from the Guyana Forensic Science Laboratory to perform their function in the area of ballistics. The DNA Act supports the capacity that we're building in terms of DNA analysis, which will lend support to our clients, such as the Guyana Police Force, to aid with their investigation, to aid with identifying victims, to aid with identifying suspects, and also to bring closure to most criminal matters where an unknown body would have been found, and to be able to identify that body and to also bring closure.
Partnerships are also a critical pillar to the force. Deputy Commissioner of Operations, Acting Clifton Hickings, says partnership goes beyond just building trust. Deputy Commissioner Hickings shows how the relationship between the police and the community works.
In finding solutions to the problem, you have to work with members of the community to solve that problem. And then we have a follow-up mechanism to ensure that whatever systems were put in place, it's actually working, and what tweaking process we'll have to go through. And what resources needed, it's a two-way process. And so thereafter, we're going to find the commanders probably revisiting the posture, ensuring that it's working. And so deriving from that, you're going to find the lower-level officers and the constables dominating the community with an effort to maintain the relationship and to sustain the posture that was realized in place.
Hicking made reference to the 2014 Impact All Boys Town project and how effective building a relationship with the community can be in solving and reducing crimes.
The posture changed from cordon off an entire community to arrest 3 people, from doing that to go into a home and arrest a suspect because of the capacity we built with the community.
A similar exercise is ongoing in the East Bank community of Caneville, where there was an increase in criminal activities.
We've engaged the community in a more meaningful way. We've put certain structures in place, and we've seen a drastic reduction in crime in Caneville and growth.
Hicking says police presence in communities is aimed at helping citizens to see officers as allies.
Walkabout in the community is necessary. First of all, it builds the confidence. It gives the people a chance to just come from their house to the street and to interact with the police. It minimizes the time it will take for them to go to the station, and I think generally it's going to be a better opportunity for the police to do their assessment on the ground rather than second-hand information.
While community engagement has been limited due to the pandemic, the force is finding its way to interact with communities.
Before now and month end, you're going to see a scout program rolling out via virtual space, and so I preempted that, but it's just to let you know that we're doing everything to ensure that we reach out to the youths. It's very, very important to us.
There is also engagement with the private sector, which is on board with the police, identifying problems and finding solutions.
If we don't engage with the corporate sector, we're not going to benefit from the corporate responsibility when we're dealing with the communities. And so the partnership with the private sector is an excellent one. We are concretizing across the region. And so they have been coming on board with us, and they've been supporting the communities, and we find that we're not just using them to maintain the community posture in terms of a relationship, but they're now identifying where the problems are and how they can mitigate those problems by creating an atmosphere of employment.
The Guyana Police Force also intensified its collaboration with private security firms.
That is to ensure that whatever service they're providing to, like the Guyana Police Force, it's a professional one. And so we've re-engaged them. We have redone the training curricula, and so instead of spending 1 week training security services, we're going to find us training them for 2 weeks in 2 modules, the theoretical aspect and the practical aspect.
Modern times require modern solutions. While partnerships with people are vital, it proves fruitful to have a second or third perspective that could lead to crimes being solved. It is for that reason the force has embraced the use of technology as a crime-fighting tool. This includes the use of intelligence surveillance cameras via a Smart City project. The project, which started as a pilot in Georgetown with 100 cameras, has since expanded. In excess of 300 cameras are strategically located in regions 2, 3, 5, 6, and 10. Superintendent Mahindra Singh, who heads the project, says the use of intelligence surveillance cameras aid in the suppression of crimes.
It primarily assists investigators generally, in conducting their investigations in a much more holistic way, this is a tool utilized primarily for the prevention of crime. So we are the detection effort generally, and investigators are generally more capable now with this in place and operable. We're working here 24 hours a day. We have personal persons who have been identified to take calls via the 911 and to make dispatches to all regions wherever the crime or the offense would have been committed or the report emanates from.
Superintendent Singh shares some of the features of the cameras.
These cameras that are currently in use, they provide us with capabilities for facial recognition, license plate recognition. As far as event-driven monitoring is done, once crime or crimes are committed, we can do it presently as is by monitoring, or after the fact, that is commission of offenses thereafter. The footage is quite clear. It assists tremendously presently in how we deal with offenses from the time we recognize to prosecution or identifying personal perpetrators who would have committed same.
Evidence produced by those cameras is solid in the court of law.
There is legal basis to utilize the digital evidence obtained by the Evidence Act. That gives us the basis to use SAFE. Another thing is that this crime or crimes would have been committed in a public place. The view of the camera, more or less public places.
Superintendent Singh details how effective and critical the use of cameras can be.
These cameras have provided support to all investigators where crimes, especially street crimes, are committed, and successes have been obtained where robberies that are staged and or occurring in real time would have been observed, fed in real time to the investigators and or anti-crime patrols in the divisions. Many a perpetrator would have been arrested, charged and placed before the court, with this evidence supporting the charges. Of recent, I can tell you, there's been one major one with the murder. A body was dumped on the East Coast. Support from here would have provided amicable, in other words, amicable support would have been given from this area to investigators in identifying the perpetrators.
The cameras were also able to pick up on a number of staged crimes.
Another thing is that the private sector receives assistance in a way that our cameras focused on certain key areas in central Georgetown. There were times when persons would have staged robberies who were employed by the business person. Observing same, it would have been reported in real time and the persons would have been arrested.
The Guyana Police Force has also been decentralized. This will ensure more effective policing throughout the country. Deputy Commissioner Hickings says the decentralization of the force means that resources of the force are being standardized countrywide.
We've developed tools to ensure the commanders identify where the problems are, its magnitude, and how they can deal with it. And that's called the Database Management Information Unit. That unit we've placed units of that nature in every region. And so every region can stand alone at the commander's level and determine where the hotspots and black spots are. Hotspots meaning where there are crime and crime potential area.
This also helps how police interact with members of the public.
We're building capacity in those regards, and so that every regional commander can stand up on his own in a structured crime fighting way and not being too confrontational with members of the public. We're really trying to conduct ourselves in contemporary policing where we do intel work and you meet the people, you communicate with the people and minimize confrontation.
The combination of police efforts has proven to be fruitful. Comparative statistics from January 2020 to July 26, 2020 and January 2021 to July 26, 2021 show that the Guyana Police Force is headed in the right direction. Statistics indicate that there is a 19.3% decrease in serious crimes as followed: 15.1% decrease in murders, 35% decrease in robbery underarms, 55.6% decrease in robbery with aggravation, 10.7% decrease in break and enter and larceny, 46.4% decrease in larceny from the person, 17.6% decrease in robbery with violence, 27.8% decrease in robbery, 41.9% decrease in burglary. However, there is a sharp increase in rape cases, which shows a 70.2% increase and one case of kidnapping. As it relates to illegal firearms seized for the same period, statistics show there is a 42.9% decrease in revolvers, 40.9% decrease in shotguns, 50% decrease in pistols. The force's strategic plan is what guides the direction in which it goes. Head of the Strategic Planning Unit Woman Assistant Superintendent Nicola Kendall says it is what will continue to provide guidance in the way the force operates. Before the end of the year, another 3-year strategic plan will be made public.
The President made mention of regional security networks. And for us, that means equipping each regional division with specialized units that can address various security vulnerabilities, threats, and concerns. Now, for each region, because of its uniqueness, what will be the resources that they will be equipped with will be different because of its uniqueness.
The aim is to improve every aspect of policing countrywide.
So, generally, we want to enhance traffic management in each regional division. We want to enhance the way we approach crime detection and prevention. We want to enhance our community relations, our public engagement. We want to ensure that our stakeholders from a wide cross section of the Guyanese society is involved in the way we tackle and handle crime. So our strategic plan intends to speak to those things so that all will be involved.
The BBBC's administration is ensuring its commitment of less crime and safer communities is realized with the provision of the necessary resources to the Guyana Police Force to ensure its efficient functioning.